Dear students, myself Dr. Parul, Department of Economics, Arya College, Ludhiana. Today we will discuss the introductory concept of Indian economy. The title is State of Indian Economy at the Time of Independence. We inherited Indian economy as an independent India in 1947 from Britishers. I have tried to discuss the state of Indian economy as an underdeveloped and stagnant economy, agriculture and industrial sector, India's foreign trade, demographic conditions and occupational structure and infrastructure at the eve of independence. Indian economy as an underdeveloped and stagnant economy at the time of independence means, first of all, the meaning of underdeveloped economy. It's that economy in which there are low level of living, absolute poverty, low per capita income, low consumption level, poor health services, high death rate, high birth rate and dependence on foreign countries. In 1947-48, per capita income was about just rupees 230 in India. Bulk of the population was very poor. People were not getting 2 square meals of a day. They lacked shelter as well as clothing. There was unemployment in the economy. As far as stagnant economy is concerned, which is very little change in the growth of income. For a period of about 100 years during British rule, growth rate of per capita income was about just 0.5% per annum. This table shows the growth rate of per capita income in India, which is very low and you can see stagnant. That's why Indian economy was a backward or underdeveloped economy at the time of independence. This picture depicts Indian economy as an underdeveloped economy. Next, agriculture sector. Indian economy was predominantly agriculture. In 1947, about 85% of total population was dependent on agriculture. 50% of national income was contributed by agriculture, but agriculture itself was extremely backward. Per hectare productivity of wheat was 660 kg in India in the same year. Many reasons were behind that, but basically the reason we can discuss was zamindari system. The real benefits of agriculture went straight in the hands of zamindars. Lack of fertilizers, inferior quality of seeds and less use of modern technology, that is also responsible for the backward state of agriculture at that time. Here the reasons behind backwardness of agriculture, like commercialization of agriculture, land tenure system, zamindari system. As far as commercialization of agriculture is concerned, in this Britishers compelled Indian farmers to grow more of cash crops instead of main crop. This eventually helped the British industries back home as they were getting raw material at very low prices. This slide shows the traditional method that lead to backwardness of agriculture sector at the eve of independence. Now, industrial sector. The industrial sector was also less developed. There was very little development of industry in India. Large industries of the country used to produce consumer goods like clothes, sugar, matchbox, etc. Basic and heavy industries like machinery, petroleum, iron, steel, etc. were very few in number. Small and backward industries dominated. In 1947, production of cement was only 26 lakh ton, of sugar just 10 lakh ton, and that of cloth just 421 crore square meter. No special importance was given to the establishment of such basic and heavy industries as iron and steel, machine building, etc. It adversely affected affected Indian industrial development of the country. On the eve of independence, Tata Iron and Steel Mills was the only basic industry in India. In 1947, total steel production in the country was merely 13 lakh tons. Lack of government patronage, extra facilities were accorded to only infant Indian industries, biased tariff policy of the British rulers, and the all key posts in the industries were manned by the Britishers were some of the reasons which led to the low growth rate of industrial sector in India. This slide deals with the industrial sector. Next is India's foreign trade. Prior to independence, volume of India's foreign trade was rather small. In the colonial period, India's foreign trade was restricted to Britain only. They had the monopoly over the Indian exports. On the eve of independence, only a small number of commodities figured in the country's export-import basket. Exports largely consisted of cotton, textile, food grains, jute, manufactures, tea, oil, seeds, etc., while the imports comprised of finished consumer goods, machines, chemical fertilizers, iron and steel manufacturers. India largely traded with England and other Commonwealth countries before independence. England was a trading partner for 34% of the country's export. Next is demographic condition. Between 1891 and 1921, rate of growth of population in India was slow. In these 30 years, population increased by 1.26 crore. It was so because in these years, calamities and epidemics like famine, plague, malaria, etc. took a heavy toll of human lives. Epidemic in 1918 took a toll of 140 lakh human lives. Since 1921, population has been increasing at a very rapid rate. The trend of growth of population in India since 1921 has been consistently on the rise. That is why Census Commissioner has referred to the year 1921 as year of Great Divide, which was the first demographic transition. The increase in population during this period was higher than that of the previously 30 years. The social development indicators were also not very encouraging at that time. The overall literacy rate was less than 16% and female literacy was just about 7%. Public health facilities were unavailable to a very large sector of people. They were inadequate wherever they were available. The overall mortality rate was very high. Infant mortality rate was alarming. Due to insufficient data, it is not possible to predict and discuss the level of poverty. But considering the situation, it obviously must have been high, contributing to the further deterioration of the India. As far as occupational structure is concerned, there were two important features of India's occupational structure during the British period. 70% to 75% of India's working population was involved with the agriculture sector, 10% was in manufacturing sector, and 15 to 20% was with service sector. That led to growing regional variation. A main feature was the growing regional variation was area of then Madras Presidency, Maharashtra and West Bengal saw a decline of the workforce in agriculture with a parallel increase in the manufacturing and service sector. During the same period, there was an increase in the workforce in agriculture sector in Orissa, Rajasthan and Punjab. This table shows the distribution of labor force in agriculture, industry and service sector in India at the eve of independence. On the eve of independence, means of transport like railways, roads, air and waterways were not adequate in the view of vast geographical area. However, some efforts were made to develop basic infrastructure like roads, railway, ports, water transport and posts by Britishers. The British rulers introduced railway in 1850 and Indian Railway began operation in 1853. This slide shows the infrastructure on the eve of independence. Thank you so much.